Hello, welcome back to our Autonomous Developer Sync. We have a pretty packed agenda with some pretty big news if you hadn't been following along in the kind of community channels. So I guess we can just jump right in. So first, last week we did announce that we would be launching the kind of mainnet with only the consensus chain. Steps have begun to launch this. Daria will actually be jumping into kind of what that prep looks like later in the call. This does mean we are going to be only launching with consensus, but domains are still being worked on, and we hope to be pretty fast follow within a couple of months of the launch with full, what we would have called mainnet beta release before. So it's what we're now calling, so mainnet consensus is going to be phase 1. Let's see. Also, last time we teased, we had the strategic offsite with some of the leadership, what we called the builders and the sellers getting together from engineering and marketing and partnerships. I didn't really get into much what the outcomes of that was last time, just mentioned that we had that. So there's a few takeaways from that beyond the decision to launch consensus chain. First one is our next focus is going to be on data access. We've got this data, storage-based consensus, a lot of storage in the blockchain, very limited bloat or no bloat for nodes. So trying to leverage that into more of a decentralized storage system. A big part of that is being able to access that data once it's been put into the blockchain. So Carlos will be speaking to that as he's begun kind of work with product in how that's going to be designed and look like from an access standpoint. Tior, who I don't think is on this call today, he's been working on it more from the protocol side and how those object mappings will get kind of out into the public in order to make it easy for retrieval. Secondary to that is we shift focus from or to data access. It'll be shifting from what we've been working on, which is auto ID and auto score. Those are in somewhat stable POC mode. We're going to be collecting any user feedback, kind of exploring partnerships for what that would the usage of that would look like. But there won't be any more active development until we've kind of got those partnerships and feedback in place. And a third kind of pillar somewhat related to that is that we are going to be working on kind of facilitating some of the AI use cases that we've talked about a lot internally and been researching a lot internally. The beginning of that will be working on autonomous agents and how those autonomous agents interact and can be benefit from on-chain dynamics. So those are kind of the main outcomes from last week or from 2 weeks ago, unless I missed anything. Daria, did you?
I'm going to stop on the main parts of the mainnet blip when we get to there in the agenda.
Okay, cool. All right. With that, I will hand over to Jim.
Thanks, Jeremy. So quite a lot for me to get through today. I don't want to drag this into the refry of the ecosystem calls, but okay. So first of all, the hot topic, the GPU plotter. The first working integration test build has been released by Nazar over the weekend. The community have jumped on it, and the chat has been a roller coaster. I came in to check Discord yesterday and was greeted with many messages, which is lovely to see all the engagement there. I believe we're going to get a bigger update from Nazar on the GPU plotter a little later in the call. But great to see the engagement. Really appreciate everyone's input there. Next, the phased launch roadmap. So in case anyone did miss it, I really really encourage everyone to check out last week's community call. It's in the social feeds chat in Discord, it's on our YouTube, or there's an accompanying blog post, and I've also put out a forum post which kind of tries really to tie it into what that means to our farmers and our community. But if there are any questions on the phased roadmap, the phased launch roadmap, please do reach out. We're always in Discord or any of the other socials. Okay, in a similar vein, upcoming community call on Wednesday, we're going to hold another community call. We're going to be launching the Genesis Seed Data Contest, your opportunity to become immortalized in the blockchain by providing some data that will be used to seed the network. We'll also be unveiling a new Discord channel, which is exciting for us. And there'll be elements of farmer office hours and developer office hours in there. And as always, we encourage participation. We love your questions. We don't mind running long to make sure we get all of them answered. In addition, I'm going to be providing a bit of an update on this, or more of a roundup in Discord, hopefully later today or tomorrow. I just want to highlight the partnership announcements, make sure that they haven't kind of snuck past people's radar. But we have actually made announcements that we are partnering with Ringfence on a solution for monetizing AI-generated content, and Ringfence are exploring the use of our DSN and our stack to see where they're able to realize some synergies. And Hemera, which is an infrastructure tool for on-chain data analysis. So more focused on dApps and agents, de-agents, sorry, on our platform. Obviously a requirement on domains there, but we are working with those guys. And plenty more partnerships in the pipeline. There'll be a dedicated section on the call this week. Again, I want to highlight a roundup of the recent podcasts, spaces and panels that the team have been attending. So on the 19th of August, Lapesh joined a panel hosted by Alumni Ventures. I'm going to put all the links in the video chat, so look below if you're watching this on YouTube, about unleashing Web3 and AI and the next digital revolution. Then on the 29th of August, again, Lapesh hosted a panel on securing DAI data with distributed permanent storage, obviously right up our alley. And again, that was with Ringfence and Hemera, who we recently announced those partnerships with. And then just this weekend, there was an amazing engagement on Saturday, 7th of September, and on a Twitter space, AI and blockchain, which was our first ever Chinese Twitter space, actually, hosted by AI Web3, and included Ning Chen and Jiaming from the Autonomys team. So all of that, you know, really, we've got exciting times ahead with the launch coming. The phased approach allows us to kind of really steam towards that target without holding things up for execution. We expect to have enough news for weekly calls, which we're excited about in ecosystem. And we will be attending and hosting lots of events. So Token 2049, I think we're going to do a more robust announcement about this, but Peter's put together a great kind of agenda there, and we will actually, the Autonomys team will be co-hosting a number of events out there. We're also making plans to attend DevCon 7. Jeremy is attending permissionless. He's added into my notes here, and yeah, please do reach out to connect as always. Feel free to ping me a message in Discord or email, however you want to. But finally, I just want to make an appeal because we need you, our community. So a number of opportunities to help us out in the coming weeks. So we announced on that same call last week about we're going to have a community rewards auditing initiative. So we're hoping that everyone's going to be able to help us validate the everyone's testnet rewards over the various phases of Stake Wars 1 and the various phases of the testnet. Next, there's contributing to that Genesis Seed Data Contest that I mentioned earlier. We are planning some Mainnet Launch dress rehearsals. More news on that as it becomes available, but we'd love to see community engagement or community assistance help us you know, test the process. And again, more details on that coming soon. We'd love to see you, of course, join the space race at Mainnet Launch, looking a little further out. And yeah, we expect that everyone is going to be preparing and optimizing their farming setups for Mainnet. On a call which is scheduled for not this week, next week on the 18th, we will be ending the incentivized testnet, and with that pressure off, that's a great opportunity for everyone to kind of take a holistic view on all their hardware and their setup, and get everything optimized and mainnet ready. So yeah, lots of ecosystem or lots of community engagement coming up, and the ecosystem team are positively buzzing. Keep an eye out for that. We'll see you on Wednesday if you can join our call. Thanks, Jeremy.
So much happening. So I guess next we have digging into more details on what was discussed around consensus mainnet launch is Daria. We'll go over kind of the prep and the process that we're going through.
Yeah, there's a lot of operational items that need to be taken care of to actually launch this thing, and that is a handful. Well, first, as Jim has mentioned, we are gonna end Gemini 3H incentivization in a little over than a week now. Yes. Sorry, I was out of office last week. I got lost in timelines. So following Gemini 3H ending, we would also need to launch a new testnet that's going to be persistent throughout the mainnet. There may be a few of those launches depending how good or rough they go, so don't take my word on it. But we're going to need, of course, community jump in. The big one is going to be, of course, the one that supports the GPU plotting, and another mini space race would be nice to also have our community participate in and see how fast people can actually have it with GPU plotting, because that is going to inform like the real space race target. So that's also going to be important. Apart from that, of course, we're going to need to collect all the rewards. We're going to need all of you to make sure that your rewards are correct, because they are going to be minted in the Genesis block to your wallet addresses that we had. So once that's set, that's set. So please, as soon as that's available, do review your rewards. That is a very important part, of actually launching, is rewarding our community that has been with us for so long. What else? Apart from that, operational items also on the code side, we're doing some of the prep and cleanup, like rerunning transaction benchmarks on reference hardware. We have been just today arguing what that reference hardware should be. So that's also going to come up to documentation once we have run those to show people what it is exactly the machine that we run out transaction benchmarks on. By transaction benchmarks, I mean like the weights and the gas fees of all the transactions. There are some cleanups that need to be done because Gemini 3H was a very long running testnet, and there have been a lot of developments on it, and there have been a lot of migrations written specifically for Gemini 3H. They're not going to be needed once we launch a new network. So Nizar has been going also through cleaning up those, updating all the dependencies of upstream libraries, and so on and so forth. A lot of operational things to do. And the audit. Yes, we also need to prepare the new audit report by our partners, Security Labs, Security Research Labs. And they were also going to be putting up on, believe, on the foundation website as soon as it's ready, and should be ready by in a few weeks. So, a lot to do. I always have this anxious feeling that I feel like I'm missing something, and I think it's not going to leave me until we actually launch, and maybe after that. So let's hope that I'm not missing something, and if you think that I am, please correct me.
I'll have your back there, Daria, trying to find anything you're missing. So, as I'm sure everybody in the community will as well. All right. Well, the hot topic that Jim alluded to, I got in and looked in Discord and did see there's quite a bit of activity around this. So I'm looking forward to this update and hearing from Nazar about GPU plotting or what's happening.
Hey folks, as everyone probably knows, we've been working on GPU implementation for a while. Supranational folks were contracted to write the implementation, and they did, and now is basically the time to finally integrate it into the software. And last week, weekend to be more specific, I released the first test build where everything is basically wired together to collect feedback to see if it works, if it doesn't. It generally works. There is still some room for improvement. For example, it required the very latest NVIDIA drivers. We will lower that requirement to make it easier for people to install. and it doesn't utilize GPU fully. Turns out modern GPUs are really large, and the data set that we have, it's not quite stretching enough to utilize all the performance. So we will have to run several encoding processes in parallel on the same GPU, just like we do with CPU these days. That will take a little bit of time to improve. And initial builds were only for Linux because Windows compilation failed. I think we'll figure it out this week as well. So look forward for new test builds, and do not assume that the very initial one that you have tried is the same one that will be released. By the time it's released, it will be much improved, and there will be progress in the farming channel in Discord. So if you want to see the latest updates and discuss them, go over there, and I'll be posting more test builds this week.
Great. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to continued progress there and seeing the integration happen. And yeah. All right, Mark, I know you've been, as always, hard at work at improving Astral. I know kind of the most recent focus is on rewards transparency and kind of setting up for future audits when we're going to be getting ready to mint these into the block. So providing great transparency to our community.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
So the UI aspect is nearly done for showing the all the tokens, all the rewards per testnet. I'm still working on indexing or calculating the proper reward for Stakehor on 3G. It's a bit harder since we don't have like a gateway on Subsquid, so it's longer to index. But I have a different solution that should make it faster. I also wanted to thank Diana. She has been hard at work on finding bugs on Astral and reporting them. So I just pushed some mini change to production this morning, fixing a lot of the bugs that she reported to me. So that should help. We also added more logging on errors on Astral, allowing us to more easily detect issue as user use Astral and automatically reporting them to us basically and allowing us to fix them. So just this morning, as soon as that change made it to production, I start noticing some bugs. Then I made a few other PRs to fix them. So that should improve as well on the long run, the stability of Astral a lot. So yeah, and also on the staking, there's definitely issue on redrawing. So I'm working as well at improving the staking squids, and then after that the staking interface to be able to fix the current redrawing issue. But yeah, I'm hoping by at least by the end of the week or midweek to have a beta of the testnet reward with all the testnet up to 3G.
Great. All right. The final item today is Auto Drive. I don't know if that's the name we're going to stick with this for a data access layer, but that was my creativity at work. So, which is to say, it's not very creative. Carlos, you want to kind of give us an update where we're at? I know we're very early, so.
Yeah, so I started like a week ago with this. Basically, what I've been most focused at is in the formatting of the files, meaning the format that the files would have in the DSN, and also what kind of metadata over these files we would have to create in order to assure like the retrieval process is the quicker that we can implement. Yeah, that's been like the main focus.
Great. I would imagine over the next couple of weeks we'll see some more kind of visual progress on this, and hopefully we get a demo at the next call on here of kind of an early prototype of this. So. Well, I think we've made it through our agenda for today, unless anybody's got anything to add. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see everybody back here in a couple of weeks.